Imagine standing in the heart of Rome nearly 2,000 years ago. The streets are crowded with merchants shouting over one another. Senators wrapped in white togas stride toward the forum, soldiers march in perfect formation, and towering temples shimmer beneath the Mediterranean sun. Everywhere you look, Rome appears to be the greatest civilization on Earth. Its roads stretch across 3 continents. Its armies have conquered kingdoms from Britain to Egypt. Its engineers have built aqueducts, amphitheaters, and monuments so impressive that many still stand today. To generations that followed, ancient Rome became the symbol of civilization itself, a place of law, philosophy, military brilliance, and architectural genius. But that is only half of the story. Behind the marble columns and golden palaces existed another Rome, a Rome hidden beneath wealth and power, a city where political enemies disappeared overnight, where emperors trusted no one, not even members of their own family. Where poison was sometimes more dangerous than the sword, where thousands of people died simply to entertain a cheering crowd, where slavery fueled nearly every aspect of society, and where absolute power often transformed rulers into men remembered not for greatness, but for terror. The Rome you learned about in school is only the surface. Tonight, we descend beneath that surface, using the writings of ancient historians such as Tacitus, Suetonius, Cassius Dio, Pliny the Elder, and modern archaeological discoveries will separate historical evidence from centuries of rumor and legend. Some stories are almost impossible to believe. The disturbing part is that many of them are true. By the 2nd century CE, Rome governed an empire stretching from northern Britain to the deserts of Syria and from the Atlantic Ocean to the Nile River. Historians estimate that nearly 1/4 of the world's population lived under Roman rule. The city of Rome itself may have exceeded 1 million inhabitants, making it one of the largest urban centers on Earth. Visitors entered through enormous gates and walked streets lined with markets, temples, bathhouses, and monuments celebrating military victories. The Colosseum, completed in 80 CE under Emperor Titus, dominated the skyline. Nearby stood the Roman Forum, where laws were debated, triumphs celebrated, and political careers made or destroyed. To outsiders, Rome represented order. Power was never safe. Roman politics was not governed by trust, it was governed by survival. Although Rome developed courts, magistrates, and legal traditions that influenced much of the modern world, political life at the highest level was often brutal. Julius Caesar's assassination on the Ides of March, the 15th of March 44 BCE, is perhaps the most famous example. More than 60 senators participated in the conspiracy. Among them was Marcus Junius Brutus, a man Caesar considered an ally. According to ancient tradition, Caesar was stabbed 23 times inside the theater of Pompeii. His death shocked Rome but did not restore the Republic. Instead, it unleashed another cycle of civil wars. Eventually, Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, emerged victorious. History remembers him as Augustus, the first Roman emperor. His reign brought relative stability, but it also created something Rome had never experienced before. One man now possessed enormous political and military authority. Future emperors inherited not only the throne, but also constant fear because everyone wanted that power, and many were willing to kill for it. To protect the emperor, Augustus established an elite military force known as the Praetorian Guard. Officially, they served as bodyguards. Unofficially, they became one of the most powerful political organizations in Roman history. Unlike ordinary soldiers stationed along distant frontiers, the Praetorians lived near the center of imperial power. They guarded palaces, controlled access to the emperor, and watched nearly everyone entering or leaving the imperial court. Over time, their loyalty shifted. Rather than protecting Rome, many commanders discovered they could influence who became emperor. Some rulers depended entirely upon their support. Others feared them constantly. History records multiple emperors who were overthrown or killed with Praetorian involvement. In 41 CE, members of the Guard assassinated Emperor Caligula. Later, they proclaimed his uncle Claudius as the next emperor. Nearly 2 centuries afterward, following the murder of Emperor Pertinax in 193 CE, ancient sources report that the Praetorian Guard effectively auctioned the imperial throne to the highest bidder, Didius Julianus. The empire itself had become something that could be bought. Rome's wealth depended heavily on enslaved labor. Modern estimates suggest that in parts of Italy, enslaved people may have made up a substantial share of the population. They worked farms, mines, households, workshops, docks, and public construction projects. Some served as teachers, doctors, accountants, Ancient sources describe thousands of animals being killed during the festivities, gladiatorial contests, staged hunts, public executions, and dramatic performances attracted enormous crowds. Not every gladiator was an enslaved person. Some were prisoners of war, some were convicted criminals, others volunteered, hoping to earn money, fame, or social advancement despite the immense risks. Successful gladiators could become celebrities, with supporters cheering for their victories, much like modern sports fans. Yet the arena was also a place where justice, entertainment, and political messaging emerged in unsaid. Executions at the stage were mythological scenes were sometimes reenacted with condemned prisoners placed in deadly roles. Many spectacular displays of violence staged If the Colosseum represented Rome's public face, the imperial palace represented its hidden one. High above the city, on the Palatine Hill, stood a vast complex of luxurious halls, gardens, temples, courtyards, and private chambers. Marble floors reflected sunlight, gold decorations covered ceilings, fountains flowed through elegant gardens. From the outside, it looked like paradise. But behind those magnificent walls, trust barely existed. Every servant could be a spy, every dinner could become an assassination attempt. Every family member might be plotting for the throne. The Roman Empire ruled millions, yet the emperor often slept surrounded by guards, convinced someone would kill him before sunrise. Many of those fears were justified. Roman history is filled with emperors who died not on battlefields, but inside their own homes. Some were poisoned, some were stabbed by their closest advisors, others were murdered by the very soldiers sworn to protect them. Power in Rome was rarely surrendered. More often, it was taken by force. When Emperor Tiberius died on March 16, 37 CE, Rome celebrated. His successor, Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula, was only 24 years old. The people adored him. He was the son of the beloved General Germanicus. Crowds filled the streets cheering his arrival. For the first few months, Caligula seemed generous and compassionate. He released political prisoners, reduced certain taxes, organized spectacular games. Rome believed a golden age had begun. Then something changed. Ancient historians record that Caligula became seriously ill only months after becoming emperor. Whether the illness affected his mind remains unknown. After recovering, his behavior reportedly became increasingly erratic. Others inflicted severe punishment. Ancient legal texts describe whipping, branding, confinement, and forced labor. Although manumission, the granting of freedom, was possible for some, millions spent their entire lives without liberty. Rome's magnificent villas, monuments, and fortunes were built in part on this vast system of exploitation. It was one of the empire's darkest foundations. According to the historian Suetonius, Caligula began demanding honors usually reserved for gods. He reportedly appeared dressed as Jupiter, Mercury, and even Hercules. Some accounts claim he expected senators to worship him. Modern historians caution that many of these stories were written decades after his death by authors hostile to his memory. Separating truth from political propaganda remains difficult. Yet even allowing for exaggeration, contemporary evidence suggests his relationship with the Senate deteriorated dramatically. Fear replaced celebration, executions became more frequent, criticism became dangerous. In January 41 CE, members of the Praetorian Guard finally acted. Led by officers including Cassius Curia, conspirators attacked Caligula inside a palace passageway. He was stabbed repeatedly. His wife Caesonia and their young daughter were also killed during the chaos. He had ruled less than 4 years. The empire had removed another emperor through violence. Behind many political deaths stood another kind of weapon, not a sword, not an army, but poison. Ancient Rome knew dozens of deadly substances: hemlock, arsenic, belladonna, aconite. Some acted quickly, others killed slowly over days or weeks. This made poisoning difficult to prove. One of the most infamous figures connected with poison was Locusta. She lived during the reign of Emperor Nero. Ancient historians Tacitus and Suetonius describe her as a professional poison maker employed by powerful members of the imperial court. Whether every story about her is true remains uncertain, but multiple ancient sources agree she played an important role in political murders. Her knowledge became so valuable that she reportedly received protection from Nero himself. In Rome, the deadliest weapon was sometimes a simple cup of wine. When Emperor Tiberius died on March 16, 37 CE, Rome celebrated. His successor, Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula, was only 24 years old. The people adored him. He was the son of the beloved General Germanicus. Crowds filled the streets cheering his arrival. For the first few months, Caligula seemed generous and compassionate. Emperor Claudius ruled from 41 to 54 CE. Unlike Caligula, he proved to be an effective administrator. He expanded the empire by conquering Britain, improved public administration, strengthened Roman infrastructure. Yet his greatest danger came not from foreign enemies. It may have come from his own dining table. According to Tacitus, Suetonius, and Cassius Dio, Claudius became violently ill after eating mushrooms at a banquet in October 54 CE. Ancient historians accused his wife, Agrippina the Younger, of arranging the poisoning. Her motive? To ensure that her teenage son Nero became emperor before Claudius could choose another successor. Modern historians cannot prove the accusation. Claudius may have died naturally from illness. The evidence is incomplete, yet the timing permanently fueled suspicion. Within hours of Claudius's death, Nero was proclaimed emperor. Whether coincidence or conspiracy, history has debated the question for nearly 2,000 years. Agrippina the Younger remains one of Rome's most remarkable women. She was the sister of Caligula, the niece of Emperor Claudius, the mother of Nero. Very few Romans stood so close to imperial power. Ancient writers portray Agrippina as brilliant, ambitious, and politically skilled. She understood alliances. She cultivated influence. She knew how power worked. Coins were even minted showing both Nero and Agrippina together, an extraordinary honor for an imperial woman. For a time, many believed she shared authority with her young son, but power inside the palace rarely remained balanced. As Nero grew older, tensions between mother and son intensified. Ancient historians describe bitter arguments over influence and succession. Eventually, according to Tacitus, Nero decided his mother had become too dangerous to keep alive. One of history's most chilling family betrayals was about to unfold. The first assassination attempt was astonishing. According to ancient sources, Nero commissioned a specially designed pleasure boat. Its hidden mechanism would collapse while Agrippina sailed across the Bay of Naples. The plan failed. Agrippina reportedly survived the wreck by swimming ashore. Realizing the attempt had failed, Nero chose a simpler solution. Soldiers were sent to her villa. There, in 59 CE, Agrippina was killed. Whether every dramatic detail recorded by Tacitus is historically accurate remains uncertain. What is beyond dispute is that Agrippina died on Nero's orders according to the principles surviving ancient accounts. Rome had witnessed a son eliminating his own mother for political security. It shocked even a society accustomed to violence. After Agrippina's death, fear spread through the imperial court. Senators watched every word. Servants feared carrying messages. Friends wondered whether private conversations would later be repeated to the emperor. Informers became powerful. Known in Latin as delatores, these professional accusers reported suspected disloyalty. Some acted from genuine belief, Others hoped to gain wealth, property, or political favor. A single accusation could destroy an entire family. Trials often ended in exile, confiscation of property, or execution. Silence became a survival strategy. In ancient Rome, speaking too freely could become a death sentence. From above, the Colosseum looked like a masterpiece of Roman engineering. More than 50,000 spectators packed its stone seats. Senators occupied the finest rows. Ordinary citizens filled the upper levels. The emperor watched from his private imperial box. To the cheering crowd, the arena appeared simple, a vast oval covered in clean golden sand. But beneath their feet lay a hidden world, a maze of dark tunnels, cages, elevators, storage rooms, and narrow passageways stretched underneath the arena floor. The Romans called this underground complex the Hypogeum. Completed during the reign of Emperor Domitian around 81 of 96 CE, it transformed entertainment forever. Dozens of wooden elevators, operated by teams of workers using ropes and pulleys, could suddenly lift gladiators or wild animals into the arena. One moment the sand was empty, the next a lion, a bear, or an armed fighter appeared as if by magic. To Roman spectators, it looked almost supernatural. To those waiting below, it was terrifying. Many stood in darkness, listening to the roar of tens of thousands of people above them. They knew that when the platform rose, their lives might end within minutes. Modern films often portray gladiators as slaves forced into hopeless battles. The reality was more complex. Many gladiators were indeed enslaved or prisoners of war. Others were convicted criminals sentenced to fight, but some entered the arena voluntarily. These volunteers, known as octorati, signed contracts with gladiator schools. Why would anyone choose such a dangerous life? Because successful gladiators could earn fame, prize money, and public admiration. Some became the celebrities of their age. Children collected small carvings depicting famous fighters. Crowds chanted their names. Women reportedly admired them, much as sports stars are admired today. Gladiators trained for months or even years. They lived in special schools called ludi, supervised by professional trainers. Their diet was carefully managed. Ancient medical studies suggest many ate large amounts of barley and legumes, earning them the nickname barley men. Despite popular belief, gladiatorial combat was not always fought to the death. Experienced fighters represented a significant financial investment. Owners often preferred to keep skilled gladiators alive for future games. Nevertheless, serious injuries were common. Every match carried genuine risk. The arena demanded courage unlike almost anywhere else in the Roman world. Few images are more closely associated with ancient Rome than an emperor deciding a fighter's fate with the movement of his thumb. But did that famous gesture actually exist? The answer is uncertain. Ancient writers mention hand signals used during gladiatorial contests. However, they rarely describe them in detail.